Hello and welcome back to the Karma Stories podcast. I'm Rob and I hope you are having a wonderful day today. Today I have a single story for you with update from the Relationship Subreddit. The Karma Stories podcast is published to all major podcasting platforms, and you can also read along on YouTube under our @Karma Stories podcast handle. If you have a story you'd like to submit to the podcast, you can do so by email at karmastoriespod@gmail.com. Alright, on to today's story. Let's jump right in. This story comes to us from 10-Point Font. My 28 female, boyfriend 30 male, erased the whiteboard I had my novel timeline on. 3 years. I have been working on a novel for about a year. I write every day, even just a sentence. 6 months ago, my college switched to smartboards and put all their whiteboards in the garbage. I grabbed two because I have a huge wall space open in my living room. Most of my writing is done on my Google Drive, but I have things like character personalities, names, places, a general timeline, etc. You know, stuff I want to remember. I used to take photos of it so I had my ideas with me. I used to write on my lunch break. I stopped doing that because I burned myself out and my writing quality takes a huge dive. Plus, my boyfriend helps me write it, and it helps us connect in such a deep way. So I haven't taken a photo in about 3 months. The whiteboards are nice because I can read my notes across the room while I'm sitting in my favorite chair. I got home last night and all of my stuff was erased. It was all train of thought, like I'd come home and jot something down. Handwriting is way more cathartic for me. I had sketches of things in the novel. I'd basically have to go through and remember every single thing on it. I have a lot of it stored in my head or on my Google Drive, but there are some things I'll never get back. But it's the fact he erased it. We don't live together. He told me I've been focusing too much on it and have no time for him. We hang out at my house 5 or 6 nights a week. I write while he plays video games. It's a good dynamic and I thought we enjoyed it. We are always laughing, and he helps me with my wording, and I Google stuff to help him in his game. This is the first time he's mentioned it bothering him. If he had brought it up, we could have talked about it, but he went nuclear, and I have no idea why. I don't know what to do. I'm so frustrated. We have had one serious argument over his driving. He got better. My family took him on vacation a few weeks ago. We watch his nephew all the time. His family paid for my entire spring semester. We are so much a part of each other's lives, and I feel so hurt and heartbroken. He's my muse, and just the other day, we went to the jewelry store to look at rings. My feelings rotate between rage, sadness, confusion, sorrow, anger, everything. How do I even approach this? Last night, I was so upset I asked him to leave. He hasn't texted. He hasn't called. He hasn't stopped by. I keep typing in questions to ask, but I keep erasing them. Why did you do it? Are you unhappy with our relationship? What did I do? I'm even more heartbroken due to the fact he hasn't called or texted all day. I'm afraid to call him. I don't want to hear him say he thinks we should break up, or he doesn't want to be with me when I'm writing, or just ignore my call. OP added a very quick edit down at the bottom of this one. It says, edit, holy cuss you guys, I am absolutely overwhelmed. I'm not even sure what to say. I asked a girlfriend if I could come over and talk, so we are getting some wine and a pizza. Let me tell you, the people in the comments for this one definitely had a lot to say. We're gonna go through a few of them. The first one comes to us from Blinkings and Beepings, and it says, wow, I'm honestly shocked. Like he didn't even do this in a moment of anger during a fight. He went over to your house and did it while you weren't there. That's messed up. He could have brought up his concerns in a million different ways, some better than others. My spouse is a writer, so I know that feeling of getting jealous of the novel, and I haven't always been super constructive in the ways I brought it up. But instead of having a discussion with you, he decided to act unilaterally to sabotage your work. Your feelings are totally valid here. I can't even imagine how angry you'd be. Another commenter down below called Forbeat said, holy crap, as a fellow writer, I'd be livid if I were you. You said this is the first time he's mentioned it bothering him. If this is true and he jumps straight to sabotage, this is effed up. It's messed up regardless because I'm sure your boyfriend knows how important this work is to you. Like, for him to try not to talk to you about this after 3 years is mind-boggling. Who does this? Text him the dreaded "we need to talk" message, ask him when he's available, and have him come over to use his words like a gosh darn adult. Also, take his key away or change your locks if you don't want to be that upfront about it. He lost his privileges. To be honest though, in all sincerity, I don't know if this is something I could move past. It comes off as so cruel. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he chose to go into your home when you weren't there because he knew he was doing something wrong. He either knows he effed up or he feels as though he's in the right, and that's why he hasn't reached out to you. I'm shocked and appalled on your behalf, OP. One more commenter down below called Dammit Anthony said he hasn't texted or called because he's waiting for an apology from you, saying that you overreacted to him dictating aspects of your life and not respecting his needs in the relationship. This one is done. How can you trust him again? What if you decide to stay together, you get married, he gets your passwords, and deletes your Google Drive account because it's taking away your time from him? Find somebody who respects your writing and is supportive of your goals and dreams. OP, it is time to get rid of this guy because he's just shown you that he's willing to destroy what you love and what you care about and what you've put a bunch of time into when he's upset. It's all about him. This is dangerous and it's never going to change. Alright, OP updated this post. Let's get into that now. It's titled, "Update My 28 Female, Boyfriend 30 Male, Erase the Whiteboard I Had My Novel Timeline On." It's been about 3 months since I made my post. This somehow seems like it got really long. The night I made my post, I went to a friend's house and she ordered a pizza. We got ice cream and a bottle of wine. She's a straight shooter, takes a neutral approach, and she gives solid relationship advice, so I felt comfortable talking to her about everything. She couldn't figure out why he'd done it. We went over how he and I hung out, how much he seemed to care about me, how we looked into each other's eyes, but it also revealed a lot of hesitation on my part. I'm a positive person and tend to forgive faults, or overlook them. I suspect it's some sort of coping method from my childhood. We had some unresolved issues I think he was holding in, but when I'd bring them up, he'd just get kinda salty and go, "It's fine, I don't care anymore." But he'd bring them up in arguments. I didn't realize how toxic it was. That same night, I told him I was coming over the next day to talk about things. I told him I'd be over around 11, and the only thing he texted me was, "Okay," which I didn't respond to. I went over to his house at 11, and he was still asleep. He got upset when I woke him up. It took the wind out of my sails. On a good day, I cry if something upsets me, but I was so angry and heartbroken I couldn't even think. I left without saying a word to him. He didn't follow me. On my way out, I went to the kitchen and took my house key from his ring. I drove home in a daze, collected all his things, put them in a box on my porch, and texted him to come get them. He said, "What the heck? That's fine, I'll come by later and pick them up." I went out with a few girlfriends, we got day drunk and had some amazing food. It made me feel better, but when I got home and his things were gone, I was heartbroken. I never texted him, he never texted me. I got absolutely no closure, and even though people say closure is BS, I've had the hardest time moving on. It's been 3 months and I still cry in the shower sometimes. Even though I broke up with him, I still feel so confused and heartbroken. I never figured out why he did what he did. I likely never will, and I miss his help and companionship. I'd love to come here and say I finished my book, but I haven't written much since. I can't get into my characters' heads anymore. There's a feeling of loneliness and grief, and that sort of helped me create a better outline, but I can't write about my characters. The other day, I went to the bookstore to study. I ended up looking at books related to time travel and found one that has thousands of positive reviews. My novel is science fiction, and I've been trying to think of how to incorporate time travel, so it kind of lined up perfectly. It turns out a lot of my ideas mirror theoretical physics. It's eerie. I've never taken physics or read about it. Suddenly, string theory makes sense. Cosmology makes sense. I'm blown away, and it makes me feel so weird that so much of my plot has been studied so in depth. The book has lit a fire under me. Reading more about everything makes me so excited, and it's helped me really flesh out my plot. I can't put it down and read 20 or so pages a night. I haven't actually made time to sit and read a book for years. I always have a notebook with me now, so I write my ideas down. I haven't written about my characters yet, but my passion is back. My plot is making more sense. Now, I don't care much about how we broke up. I'm not confused. I sometimes get sad at night or during the day, or if I go out and make prolonged eye contact with a guy. I haven't thought about dating, and I'm still too hurt to pursue it. But every day I move on a little bit more. I wanted to thank everyone who gave me advice. I forgot about my post until just now, and when I went back through and read it, it made me realize how seriously messed up it was, and it gave me closure. Thank you. Jumping down to the comments on this one, we have one from a user called Jeffymeister. It says, I recognized your post immediately, and not just from your awesome username. Your ex's behavior was so inexplicable. Your story stuck with me. Thanks for updating. Talking over breakups rarely gives you the understanding you're looking for. I think it's hard to find regardless. Breakups hurt, and it just takes time. There's so much emotion involved. Often, there isn't a completely rational explanation. In your case, rationality seems to have gone out the window. I bet anything that your ex might have said would have only frustrated you further. He probably did you a favor by going no contact. I'm glad that you found the spark to write again. Being able to focus on that is probably the best thing you could do to move on. Good luck with your novel. Another commenter called Sweet Angel Divine said, sometimes after an emotional upset, we're too raw to be creative. I was nearly done with my novel when I became horrifically ill and needed to move home with my parents cross-country and leave my life behind. It's almost 2 years on now, and I still have yet to finish, but the trauma of that time is finally starting to settle, and I'm starting to write and paint again. And I've been told this is all totally normal. The fact that you're starting to feel that creative burn again after 3 months, after such a terrible thing happened to you by someone you trusted, shows just how strong you are. Good luck, and keep nurturing your ideas, and don't feel bad for not getting back on the horse right away. Take time out to care for yourself, and be patient if things don't come out as fast as you want. You're recovering from something big. Hopefully, we'll see your book someday soon. I can understand why it's very hard for OP to move on, and especially to start writing again. OP did mention that their boyfriend helped them write the novel. Then they were betrayed by that boyfriend in one of the worst ways possible for a writer, by just completely getting rid of everything that you worked for. OP, the healing process for this one is very long, and I wouldn't fault you for wanting to maybe start writing something different that doesn't have the memories of your boyfriend in it. Quickly, at the end of this one, this story is an absolute reminder to anybody who saves anything or writes anything down to have a backup. Take the pictures, back up the data, because you never know when somebody's going to be vindictive and try to get rid of it on you. If you enjoy daily Reddit stories, I encourage you to follow and add us to your favorites on whichever podcasting platform you enjoy the most. And if you're watching and listening on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button and drop a like on the video. It really helps us out. I thank you for watching and listening. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.